Good evening, ladies, gamers, and gentlemen. You are watching BelleNOiRtv. My name is BelleNOir, and today's show, finally, after a week of forced break, is yet another Cast My Game. This time it is going to be episode 25, and as usual, we will look at 3 replays submitted by you guys, which I have not seen. I picked them at random. And today it is going to be a TVZ, a PVT, and we're going to be finishing up the broadcast with a ZVZ with a replay from featuring Stefano. It's a pretty old replay, but still should be good. So thank you for tuning in, anybody who already has. And if you're watching from the YouTube archive, hello there. Thank you for clicking on the video and giving it a shot. If you're wondering what Cast My Game is, well, you send me a replay to bellenoir@cesnam.cz titled Cast My Game. This is very important because otherwise it will probably end up in a spam box and I will not check it. But I have my filter set that anything with this title in the email should go through to my inbox. And yeah, include a short description. It has to be at least a master versus master level replay, between 10 to 30 minutes long approximately. Exceptions are being made in rare cases where the games are especially good. And then I'll just pick the replays at random, and one day you will see your replay ending up on this channel being casted by me. Optionally by me and a guest caster. We already had Wolf appearing 2 times on the channel. We had Nostalgia Telex from Telex from from Canada. Excuse me, guy is from Canada. Sorry, Telex. Almost thought you're an American. So without further ado, let us get into this. Is the stream actually live? Should be live. Cool, it is live. So, as I said, the first replay is going to be a TVZ, and this is probably a practice match between Veitstanz, a Terran player, and GornWood, also a Zerg player. And both of these guys are from Team Independent, as far as I know, just judging by their clan tag. So let us jump straight in and be amazed at how these guys practice and play. Okay, jumping into the game. The map is going to be Neo Planet S, and we already see that Veitstanz, the player who submitted this replay, in purple playing Terran pieces, is spawning in the bottom left location on this map. His opponent, GornWood, is going to be the yellow Zerg player here on top. And let us see what these guys have in store. From the description that I read, that Veitstanz provided in the replay, he said, "This is a really long game, but you will not regret it. It is really good." So I'm looking forward to this already, and hopefully we'll get some cool moves coming out of these 2 players. Meanwhile, we see Veitstanz just building his supply depot here, and I'm wondering if he will be so ballsy as to open up with a command center first, or if he will just go customary with the barracks. It looks like so far that barracks should be coming down. There it is. A weird positioning here where there's a gap for 1 more supply depot. It should go down here. Usually you see the barracks coming down right here to this spot, and then a supply depot wall off to complete the wall here. But this time Veitstanz kind of just opting to go with a different approach. And GornWood is going for the hatch first build. Will be getting his pool and gas afterwards, kind of expect the pool to go down around this location, or maybe even this location, as to be not so easily sniped via a drop, but no, he's going to be placing it right here. So in the later stages of this game, if ever a drop comes this way and unloads without GornWood noticing it, the pool will be in danger of getting sniped. This could play a huge role later on. Veitstanz opening up with a Reaper after getting his gas rolling, and we shall see. Probably will end up getting 2 Reapers, maybe just the one for scouting purposes instead of harassment, and he's going to be expanding straight afterwards. Let us see. His gas is still climbing though, so yep, there's the second Reaper, and Veitstanz realizing that he can't expand just now. He needs to build another supply depot. This will of course cause him to miss 1 SCV probably, which will not be done on time. We can see that the... Oh, it will, excuse me. So he's got this figured out perfectly. And the expansion is going down for Veitstanz. Meanwhile, the Reaper is getting a good look at the Zerg base, killing the first 2 Zerglings that popped out of the hatchery. The Queen is on the way though, and once that Queen pops, he's going to have a harder time making that Reaper useful. So he has to wait for his health to regenerate before he comes back. And we see the factory and the reactor going down onto the barracks here. So he will be swapping those when the reactor finishes, and will be continuing on with Hellions. Not taking an additional gas tells me that he will not be going for something like Cloaked Banshees or directly into a medevac drop play. But with 2 Reapers, he will be able to 3-shot any Zerglings and drones that come out. Spinecrawler having to be cancelled and rebuilt yet again. Those Reapers finally making themselves very, very useful. Look at the micro from Veitstanz. Not a single one of these Reapers have died so far. There we go, 1 dying, and Veitstanz is going to go for another scout into the main Zerg base, or maybe not. But he has seen the pool, he has not seen any gas, so he's going to be pretty comfortable knowing that the Hellions that he's going to be producing probably right now... Oh, he's not going into Hellions. That's a little bit of a mistake in my opinion, because when you see no gas from the Zerg player, none at all, at this time, you know that the only thing he has to defend are Zerglings and Queens, and they are not that good versus Hellions, whereas opposed to if he had seen a gas, he knows that Roaches are a possibility, Speedlings are a possibility, so on creep those Hellions would be very vulnerable. But I like the decision of him taking a 3rd command center straight up before doing anything else. He's going to be using tanks as a means of defending his expansions. He knows the gas is delayed, so this is another way he can exploit that. 3rd hatch going down for GornWood, as GornWood sees what is up though. He sees the tank rolling off the production line of the factory, and he knows that any kind of laying a roach or baneling aggression would be shut down heavily because of this, because by the time he would get any units over there, there would be so many tanks that this would not be worthwhile for him to do whatsoever. So, for the time being, he will just get his link speed, and he will try to saturate the 3rd base as fast as possible. Both of these players kind of playing well. And Veitstanz, because he did see the lack of gas and almost no units being produced, he's getting his double engineering base before adding on additional production facilities whatsoever. He does scout that his opponent has a 3rd base, so that even further reaffirms him in the belief that no aggression from the Zerg player should be coming in any foreseeable future. I like the Overlord positioning of GornWood so far though, because he's got a very nice map awareness, always positioning the Overlords on top of these ridges, so that without high ground vision, without air units or scans, they are not snipeable. And Veitstanz adding on more production facilities. Additional racks is going down right now. His stim is on the way. Will be followed by combat shields, no doubt. He's getting his starport as well. and his upgrades are rolling, so he will be a little bit ahead in upgrades by about 1 minute compared to the Zerg player, which is a situation the Zerg player should not have gotten himself into in the first place. But I think this is more Veitstanz reacting well to his opponent's play than the mistake on GornWood's part. Although I have to say that his build order could take a little bit of refinement, as we see the Spire going down and bending speed as well. So he's definitely going with the Link Blink Muta style, which is really good, but only on bigger maps. On smaller maps it is not as good, and especially versus this like old style, which Veitstanz is playing without any Widow Mines. He's just going to be using tanks, so he's going really Wings of Liberty style versus his opponent GornWood so far. Let's look at the Harvester count. 53 SCVs versus 70 drones, so that pretty much means that GornWood is completely saturated on 3 bases, and the only additional drones he should be making is when he makes structures. So right now the army size will be rising very quickly for GornWood. This is the prime time Veitstanz might be trying to go for a push to cut that army size down a little bit before anything major happens. Now we see the Spire going down and turrets being put up as a response to that. Let me see if Veitstanz actually saw the Spire. No, he has not, but he knows the timing for Mutas is around 12 minutes, 13 of them being produced right now, so he's getting those turrets up just as a precaution. Armory going down as well, a little bit delayed. He's going to be continuing his upgrades for the infantry and optionally getting Thors. Optionally. Why I say that? Because Thors are good versus Mutalisks, and holy crap, is this a lot of Banelings or what? 19 Banelings. GornWood going for a really huge push here. Now this is an interesting wall off here with the missile turrets and the supply depot. I would probably be happier if the missile turret was like here in the mineral line, but can't be too picky and can't be too criticizing of the player. But it does deter the Mutalisks from just flying in there on their own. But here's the thing, there are no tanks here to protect this ramp, and this means that GornWood will be able to get a lot of SCVs and deny the space from mining very easily. Meanwhile, we have push occurring here at the top side of the map, and GornWood has to pull his army back to defend this. We have 5 tanks here with this push. This is going to be very strong push for Veitstanz, but I think GornWood will have no issues whatsoever of defending, especially if he attacks from behind. All those tanks, or the majority of them, have been eliminated, so there's no defense for Banelings, but unfortunately those Banelings did detonate needlessly a little bit onto those tanks. But it was enough. It was enough to defend. Only 2 medevacs remaining for Veitstanz and 3 Marines, which are going to be taken out. The number of Mutalisks, though, have been thinned out as well. So that just goes to show how powerful Marines can be. Now, again, the upgrades. GornWood is not continuing his ground army upgrades, which will bite him in the ass in a moment here, as the 2-2 is about to finish in approximately 1 minute. When that happens, the pushing power of Veitstanz will become 2 times as strong as it is now. Another denial here, meantime, for Veitstanz. 18 SCVs have gone down, but Veitstanz still in a good position, 56 SCVs remaining, and he does have mules. He does have good production. Look at the macro. He's constantly keeping his resources low. If you look over here at the production facilities, those all should be queued up. Well, they're not. Not all of them anyways. But I think, you know, just by keeping his resources low for the majority of the game kind of signifies that Veitstanz's macro is on par, you know. Constant production for the Terran player is very, very important, because they don't have the burst macro mechanics, as I like to call them, as the Protoss and the Zerg player have, when they can just save up resources, and then when their gateways / larva recharge, they can just produce a lot of units during a couple of seconds. Nice hits onto that tank, but unfortunately the Marines are still staying alive, eliminating all of those Mutalisks. Even Transfuse is going down to try to take out the remaining forces here of Veitstanz, and GornWood is successful, although not being very cost effective, and the army size is still heavily in favor of Veitstanz, even the unit kill count. So the Zerg player definitely behind at this point, not only in upgrades but also in unit loss tab and the general efficiency of his units as well. Drop being unleashed on him meanwhile in the main base, not accomplishing too much. Could have actually gone for the spawning pool. And these Zerglings are drunk apparently. They are apparently drunk, nibbling away at that Baneling Nest. I wonder if GornWood realizes that and stops them from attacking. And again, we have a second or a third push, rather, moving towards the fourth base of the Zerg. There are Banelings morphing, so if they catch this infantry without the tank siege, and they are very close to being down, a lot of them will be sniped off before they roll out, but this is exactly the situation that Veitstanz did not want to put himself into, but I don't think it is going to be enough, and if it is going to be very, very close for GornWood to defend this, this additional aggression, he does clean up, but again, he's losing a lot of units in doing so, and he did kill off his Baneling Nest. I can't believe that. He did kill off his own Baneling Nest. Now this is this is going to be troublesome for him. Because no Banelings means that the Marines will be alive, and he does not have other means of killing them. That's why he's putting down the infestation plate. Fungals will be very important here in any upcoming fights. Now the Terran player is still staying on 3 bases, needs to secure a 4th base very quickly here. Even repairing the medevacs, I really like what Veitstanz is doing here. Putting down 2 additional command centers, so he'll be taking this base, and he'll be taking this base as well, probably, or even like leaving one of these command centers somewhere around here as a planetary fortress. If we look at the unit composition here, we see 68 Lings, only 11 Mutalisks, and now 12 Banelings is being morphed, or are being morphed. Those will be the saving grace versus any kind of additional aggression. Veitstanz clearing out the creep, moving forward this time with Widow Mines because he realizes that those are more easily deployable. Nice hit onto that pack of Zerglings before it gets taken out. Now the splits will come into play. The Banelings are all gone, and there is still a sizable contingent of Marines remaining, and I think this base is in peril of being picked up. But here come the Mutalisks. Will they be able to clean out the Marines before they die? I think so. Veitstanz realizing this and pulling back. He will do so at the cost of 1 tank, which is quite good. And GornWood just reinforcing with mass Lings. He does not want to be spending any more gas than he necessarily needs to. He will end up defending this drop eventually. The upgrades are now in favor of the Terran player, albeit only slightly, but they are. Now I wonder, probably an Ultralisk Cavern will end up going down for GornWood as soon as that hive finishes. Meanwhile, Veitstanz securing himself a 4th base, and probably will be securing a 5th one as well. All he needs to do is wait for this command center to finish upgrading, and then he can just float that over. Another engagement here. Veitstanz drilling this part of the map like a worker at a construction site. He really wants to get that expansion down and take it out of order. And if he's going to maintain his accuracy on these splits, which he's showcasing right now, he is going to have no problems in doing so. The Mutalisks come in yet again, and this time the flock is a lot bigger, so GornWood will have no problem defending this whatsoever. As soon as he takes out the Marines, those Marauders have no chances of surviving neither. So another pullback by Veitstanz, and he's going for another push yet again. Has to be careful though, he needs to maintain his medevac count reasonably high at around 4 to 8 medevacs, and that way he will be able to overpower the Zerg just by providing more longevity to his units. Another small engagement, but huge hits from that tank, eliminating majority of those Banelings. But again, not enough of Marines surviving, and the Mutalisks are being really strong here in this scenario. So Veitstanz really trying to take this base out of business, but not having much luck versus the defenses of GornWood. Now at the same time, GornWood cannot produce anything else but defending units. We can see he's constantly producing lings and bandings, trying to keep his murals alive for as long as of a time as possible. But all of this is draining his larva count and mineral count quite quickly, and he will not be able to produce as many Ultralisks as he would have liked, which is the thing that can bring him back into this game. Nice surround on those Marines, yet again forcing another retreat from the Terran army. But Veitstanz, he's on top of his macro. He has 4 bases. He's got 3 or 2 of those mining, as the natural still has some patches left and is pushing forward slowly. Should really be taking a 5th base at this point. And speaking of 5th bases, GornWood should be trying to do so as well. And only now the first Ultralisks are going to come into play. And the upgrades are starting to even out as well. The Terran infantry is on 3-3, but 3-3 is about to finish for the Zerg player, as is the chitinous plating for the Ultralisks. If he waits for that upgrade to finish before he engages, he's going to have a very nice engage on his hands. And engaging up onto this hill, he can even engage very favorably, because he can engage from the top, from the bottom. He can get a nice surround on his opponent. I think Veitstanz at this point might be overextending a little bit, and here come the Ultralisks leading the charge, absorbing all of those tank shots, allowing the Banelings to come in, but Banelings doing almost 0 damage, still a lot of Marines remaining here, and they are killing the Ultralisks off slowly. I can't believe it. Veitstanz is still staying alive, but this army is heavily overstimmed and will have to be really careful during this engagement. But nope, not enough lings, not enough Mutalisks, and GornWood is running out of steam slowly but surely. No infestors in this composition, meaning that the Marines can always kite back to the tank lines, or this one tank that is remaining here, even clicking the tank onto the Ultra to make sure it does go down. Very narrowly GornWood ends up defending, but he's falling behind in economy quite heavily. Look at the bank for these players: 1,000, 1.5k gas for the Terran player, and only a couple hundred minerals for GornWood. Things are not looking good for the Zerg player, and him lacking additional bases is just hurting him even further, despite the fact that he's on a 68 drones still. The main base is mined out, the natural base is mined out, and the 3rd base will be mined out shortly here, so he'll be down to only 1 mining base here. I don't know what the hell he thinks he's doing, but more bases would definitely help him in this situation. Finally realizing that he's got too much gas, not enough minerals, so this is the perfect opportunity for him to start producing some infestors. Those will also help the Banelings to connect and the Ultralisks to close in on their prey. As long as he can land those fungals, he will be in a good position. And he does have a Zergling burrowed here, so he knows when the attack will be coming. That's also good for him. And now we have a little bit of a standoff. Finally taking an additional base. Finally GornWood. Oh my god. And I think at this point... Hold on, we have an engagement here. The tanks are not sieged. The Banelings are doing the damage they need to be doing. But again, no infestors and a considerable amount of marauders here to counter the Ultralisks. Transfuses are trying to come in, and GornWood this time defends handily. Still a lot of his gas expensive units remaining out on the field. Where are the infestors though? He hasn't produced any so far. He does have the infestation bit down. He does have the pathogen glands upgrade researched, but for some reason he has not made any infestors yet. Those would help him considerably in this scenario. The army size heavily in favor of for Veitstanz, and I cannot believe that GornWood is still alive. Quite frankly, another engagement here. This time the tanks are sieged up, but the infantry is kiting back for no reason whatsoever, as there are no Banelings, almost allowing that tank to die, and it will go down here momentarily. But those Ultralisks supported by Queen Transfuser, still staying alive. The Marine numbers are dwindling, but still enough to kill off those Ultralisks. And I think this was the engagement that put Veitstanz into a commanding lead in this game, undeniably at this point, and he will be finally able to take out this base. And at this point, he can even start building planetary fortresses in these chokes, further constricting GornWood in regards to what he's able to do with his units. Look at GornWood, he's got only a handful of defending units left, 14 Zerglings, 7 Mutalisks, and that is it. Versus a really sizable army of 32 Marauders and 30 Marines with 4 tanks and 11 medevacs supporting that army. Veitstanz max at 200-200. This small Zergling counterattack, the small run-by, will not change the outcome of this game at this point, and I think we are looking at the final engagement. Not enough failings to actually matter. Veitstanz going in for the kill, snipes off the hatchery, and GornWood just leaves the game straight up. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first game of the evening. We are going to be going go into game number 2 here momentarily, as I find it in the replays. Once again, you are watching BelleNOiRtv. My name is BelleNOir, and this is Cast My Game Community Casts, where we cast your replays. That's 3 replays every evening, as I am able to do. Next game coming up was submitted by Solvet, a Protoss player from Team Awesome Gaming from Sweden. And he's going to be playing versus Dzerzhinski, who is a Terran player from Great Britain, I think. So let's get into it. Alright. Let us see here. Spawning again on Neoplanet S. Oh my god, I had no idea that this is going to be the same map. Spawning in the bottom, it is going to be from Team Awesome Gaming Solvet from Great Britain, playing for the Swedish team. And here in the top is Felix Dzerzhinski, a British Terran player. This was, I think, played as part of the UK Pro League. And apparently these guys, I vaguely remember Solvet sending me 3 replays, so probably he sent me the entire series versus Dzerzhinski. I don't know. I think he ended up winning those series, because as far as I remember, he did end up winning 2 games and losing 1. But but I have no knowledge of how well he did in the subsequent rounds of UK Pro League. It's good to see British esports scene on the rise and finally getting a proper national StarCraft 2 league. So Dzerzhinski going to be opening up with a fairly well-timed gas. It's a completely standard timing, not wanting to cut a single SCV to get that up. And we see a double gas opening from Solvet. So he does have the option open to tech up rather aggressively after he takes his expansion, or maybe even go for a proxy Stargate this probe. Not being allowed entry into the main base though, so Solvet has no idea if that gas is there or not. And Dzerzhinski being very smart, building the Marine first, waiting before he builds a Reaper, if that's a route he even wants to be taking. He could also build a factory instead of a Reaper after this. And the probe leaving just in time to save itself from the outcoming Marine. Now usually what some of the players do, they wait until 3 minutes, 9 seconds, to see if a Marine will end up coming up or not. If it doesn't and the barracks is still working, you know for a fact that it's going to be a Reaper. If you get shot at by a Marine, if you react quickly enough, you can actually save the probe and get away and get a rescout on the natural base later on, so that you know if this is an expansion or not. And it looks like Dzerzhinski is going to be going for a Reaper opening. He does not have an additional gas down yet, but he could still try to go for a starport if he invests all of his gas into that. Oh, there's the second gas as I speak, so we could be seeing a Hellion drop here in a while, or maybe even a Widow Mine drop. And this is interesting. Solvet still has not expanded. He only got he does have both of these guys are fully saturated though. A little bit of a supply block here for Solvet. Oh my god, he's going for the blink play. He's going for the one base blink. They'll be adding more gateways right now, raising the count to 3. Oh, blink play so good on this map. Let's see what's coming out of that factory. Oh, it's going to be Hellions. It's going to be Hellions. Widow Mines are very good at defending drop plays, but Dzerzhinski deciding to go Hellions in this scenario, which are not as good to defend versus blink plays. Solvet discovering this SCV, even further blinding Dzerzhinski to the fact that there is no expansion here. He did see this pylon back here, however, before, so he should know that there should be some buildings being built there, because you don't need to have a pylon here in the back. Is he going to go and scout that? Oh, he does see the Twilight Council, but with Solvet's army all the way up here, he can't defend this very easily. These probes, though, being the heroes, getting a kill onto that Hellion, and with the rest of them and a Stalker, Solvet is able to defend this very handily. He does have a proxy pylon up here, so he can start warping in Stalkers whenever he has the resources to do so. Still 40 seconds on that blink to go. Maybe 25 with additional chrono boosting. Solvet does have the chrono boost. He could chrono boost this at least once, so definitely a couple of chrono boosts missing onto that. A Viking being produced off the starport, that's a really good idea here, because the Viking will help in denying high ground vision for Solvet as he tries to blink up by sniping that mothership core. And with the tank range, the Stalkers cannot protect the mothership core, because they would be in the range of the tanks whenever they blink up. Nice defense here by Dzerzhinski. He's got 2 tanks and a bunker, second one in construction. This is not breakable for Solvet. He did see that tank shot, he did see those 2 bunkers, and he's going to be probably rethinking his strategy. The best thing to do here would be probably to expand, especially when you see that your Terran opponent has not expanded yet. Let's see if he chooses to go that route. Losing a couple of probes, of course, meaning that he's only 2 on gases. Dzerzhinski scanning, thinking that there might be an observer here, and he sees no observer, and he's going into Banshees. Let's see if he'll be getting that cloak. A cloak would be a very good idea at this point, because there is no robo down yet for Solvet. He's only just now building it. He knows that this is a possibility, and he also probably knows how Dzerzhinski plays. And if it's not for detection, he's probably going to be getting Immortals out of there. And here is the interesting thing. We have a Raven coming out. I really like this move, because Solvet has a Twilight Council, so he could transition into DTs very easily here. Dzerzhinski realizes that, so getting a Raven pretty much means that you will have mobile detection ready. You don't need to go with you don't need to play defensively necessarily. You can move around with your army and you have mobile detection, so no static defenses, no usage of scans. This will maximize his income as he's still only on one base producing tanks and ravens, and at this point I think he decided to go for a one base all-in probably. But I could be wrong here. Banshee did see the expansion though, so this could be the trigger point for him to try to go for a one base all-in. Look at his resources. He's putting everything into production, getting a second Banshee out, not revealing the Banshee to the Protoss player. As a result, we have a Dark Shrine coming up, and we do have observers being chrono boosted. Probably because Solvet is a little bit afraid of a Widow Mine drop. He's rallying the observer to the main mineral line. I don't know if he saw the Banshee though. And at this point, Solvet should just cut everything, cut all probes, especially since he sees this giant army moving out. He sees the number of tanks, and he should cut everything and just chrono boost his gateways and get as many units out as possible. He's down on supply, and the army size is heavily in favor of Dzerzhinski doubling the food supply of Solvet's army. I don't think he'll be able to hold this, quite frankly. He doesn't have a single immortal out to his name, and versus this many tanks you kind of just need immortals. He does have stalkers with blink, but that's not gonna help him because he will be blinking into a lot of marines, tanks and SCVs for repair that could optionally be used to surround those stalkers. First immortal on the way, but this is not fast enough. You need 3 immortals, ideally at least 3 immortals to defend something like this. Dzerzhinski is moving into a beautiful position here, sieging his tanks here, and he will be able to take shots at anything that goes down the ramp. The Mothership Core will end up being sniped after activating the photon overcharge. A little bit of miss micro there from Solvet. The Nexus goes down, falls like a house of cards. Immortal leading the charge, sniping one tank, trying to shot at the other. But here come the Seeker missiles, and the Immortal is dead. The Stalkers have been killed. And Solvet not in a good position. This should be game over. We have DTs in the main base of Dzerzhinski. No detection there, but Dzerzhinski can lift off his buildings easily, and with no army almost for Solvet. Well, this is not looking good. Solvet just trying to get as many units out before he re-engages this. These DTs in the meantime have killed the entire mineral line, remaining back home at Dzerzhinski's base, but as soon as this Nexus falls, will he go for it? Where are the warpits? He could have definitely warped in more units, but he's pulling all the probes. The Immortal not surviving, not even getting one tank. The Banshee's clearing up the Stalkers, and this will be GG, no doubt. The command center is lifted, and Dzerzhinski will kill off every single remaining building of Solvet. He doesn't give him that opportunity though. GG's from the game before that can happen. Well, nice game. Probably Solvet thought that his opponent is going to be doing some sort of an expand after he defends, but Dzerzhinski really good decision making there, realizing that hey, my opponent just invested a lot into this Blink Stalker attack, which did absolutely 0 damage, and he's expanding behind this, so he's probably not going to have any army to his name. I'm gonna attack him and kill him. Good plan. Good plan. Alright, let us go into the final game. It's going to be a ZVZ on Whirlwind. Alright. ZVZ, the final game of today's Cast My Game community cast, where I cast your replays. If you want me to cast your replays, all you have to do is send them to me, to my email, BelleNOiR@cesnam.cz. The games have to be at least Master versus Master level, 10 to 30 minutes long, ideally. And I would like to ask you to include a short description when you do end up sending those replays, so that I know what happened in the game. I don't have to watch the replays because it kind of takes away from the authenticity of the casts. I don't like watching those replays before I cast them. And of course, the most important thing, please tell me your player name in the replay so I know which one of the two players is you. That is very important because without this, I don't know who I'm casting, you know? It kind of sucks. Back to this game though. ZVZ on Whirlwind can be quite an interesting game. We have in the red TianxiaTom. I'm just gonna call him Tom. Spawning in the top right, and in the top left it is going to be none other than EGStephanoRC. Now it is the true Stefano. I have verified that. He's currently Grandmasters, but at the time of this replay being recorded or this game being played, he was Top Masters. So either it was because the GM was closed at the moment, or he just had a fresh. He just started playing again. So Stefano opening up with a hatch into a gas and then taking a pool. He really wants to have that link speed out very quickly. And if not, he can go for a... Oh yeah, he will be able to afford both the link speed and the baning nest. His opponent doing the exact same thing. That is not a surprise to me, as you know, Whirlwind is quite a big map. And Tom has scouted his opponent opening up with the same thing, seeing that hatchery, and just by looking at the amount of hit points, you can immediately tell the timing at which that went down. So pools are finishing for both of these players. Tom is a little bit more crisp on his build order, and we see that he's getting double queens straight up after that spawning pool finished. Should be queuing up link speed now. There we go. Stefano queuing up as well. Only mining with 2 drones from the gas though, whereas Tom is mining with 3 drones. So maybe this is a mistake by Stefano, but more likely it is some kind of an optimization that he's doing. We can see that he's got 16 drones exactly mining the minerals. So maybe he's saying, I don't need more gas than this. I'm still going to be totally fine. Baning nest going down for Tom, and Stefano, he will have that 50 gas in a moment here. I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a baning nest going down at this point as well. Queen trying to chase away this overlord here. Good moves by Stefano. He does not want his opponent scouting him. He's getting 8 links right now. Oh my gosh, even more links. So, and a very quick lair. So now I know what his plan is. He's trying to go very quick Mutalisks probably here. And he's going to rely on his Ling, or should I say Speedling aggression, to buy him enough time to get those Mutalisks out. This is a very common strategy here on Whirlwind because this is such a huge map that airplays are really good here. This queen out in the open after trying to chase away the overlords, and might get sniped. The Lings are trying to defend it, running around like crazy. Who will get the better end of this engagement? Stefano just buying time at the moment. Sniping of the queen though, very good micro there, just getting a couple Lings onto that queen, and here come the reinforcements. The Lings will start to chase themselves around here. 3 banelings being more pinned, but I don't think Stefano will give Tom the chance to utilize those banelings. The fight on the ramp is ongoing. Stefano in a good position, but now he cannot retreat back to the natural, so he will get this queen instead before those banelings come. Good timing by Stefano. Oh my god, the queen does survive in the end with 5 hit points only. That was really unlucky there for Stefano, but look at this. Very interestingly, he's not shooting for the Spire. He's going for Infestation Pit straight up without any upgrades. will we end up seeing swarm hosts? That would be quite a interesting strategy to do. Tom is trying to go in though. He will get both of these queens probably, and the spine crawler. Stephano not reacting in time, not getting enough defenses. He only has a token number of zerglings here. The spine crawler falls, the queen falls as well, and the second one is in danger of being killed, but the zerglings are hatching. Oh, huge bailing hits onto those drones, killing 6 of them. Very nice moves here by Tom, and right now with these links, Stephano in a lot of trouble. Oh, the drones, the drones, the drones! Oh, a lot more drones go down. 13 killed total, bringing Tom into a firm lead over Stephano. 30 drones versus 24. Stephano has to make something happen. He's going for the counterattack. He's building swarm hosts. Very interesting strategy here. But we have seen him employ this strategy in every single matchup he played lately. He kind of just chose to play a really boring style, just massing swarm hosts. Now, I have seen a ZVZ swarm host play in the past, in the recent games that I casted for Zawi UK Open, and some of the Zerg players are starting to pick up this strategy, and it's been very interesting to see how this works in ZVZ. There have been a lot of players after Heart of the Swarm was released who tried to go for swarm hosts. Most notably, Red, TLO were the ones that were experimenting with swarm hosts the most, but they did not end up being successful. And Stephano even hiding his swarm hosts right now. He does not want his opponents to see what he is up to. He does have an overseer though, and if we look here, Stephano does have a flank ready, and whenever his opponent moves out, who is also getting roaches and roach speed with the lings and banelings, Stephano will go in and try to counterattack. Oh, and he's doing just that, but he miscalculated this, and his whole force will be forced to retreat. Especially with those banelings, he cannot engage those roaches and lings, and will these swarm hosts be enough? He only has 4 of them so far. He's getting infestors as well. He will really want to lock those lings and banelings in place so that they cannot threaten his ling army. But I don't think he has enough here at this point. His army supply is only half of what his opponent's here, and I think that Tom can actually kill him here. He does have an overseer. So after he gets rid of the ground army, he will have no problem of killing Stephano here outright. The enduring swarm host, enduring locust upgrade has not been even queued up, so those locusts do not have the pushing power they should be having. And Tom just going for it straight into the mineral line, blowing everything up. Couple fungals go down onto those roaches, but only 2 of them will not kill them. And the infestors are out of energy. No burrow upgrade for Stephano, meaning that these infestors will die. No swarm host means that he cannot defend this push. He's trying to build as many lings as he can, utilizing the majority of his larva, but the enduring locust upgrade will never finish. A lot of banelings marching onto the mineral line, blowing up on the banelings. They will get a couple of drones as well, and Stephano is losing. In fact, he already has lost 28 supply to 77. Very interesting thing about this game, no evolution chambers have been built for the entire time. No upgrades have gone down. Apart from the unit upgrades, the link speed, the pathogen glands, and the road speed. And as the lair is killed and the natural is under attack, Stephano trying to hold on with only 18 drones and a lot of spines. But he has to rebuild that infestation pit. He still thinks he can do this if he masses enough swarm hosts, but losing this lair means his production is only half of what it was before. His drones are not even mining because of these roaches. The spine crawlers are not in range. Here come the links for Stephano. He will try to take out these roaches as fast as he can. But the reinforcements that should be coming from Tom any moment now should put a nail into Stephano's coffin and bury him 6 feet underground for good. So Stephano getting every bit of an advantage he can get, even sniping off that queen in the middle of the map. Third base going up for Tom though, and there is not a damn thing currently that Stephano can do about it. His supply is almost only 1/3 of what Tom has. Stephano did see drones moving here, so he's got to know that some kind of a structure is either being built there or the hatchery is already up. And it looks like that Tom is going for the same composition, the same strategy almost that Stephano is trying to deploy. He's going for the enduring locust upgrade as well, and he'll be building swarm hosts of his own, saying, "How do you like a taste of your own medicine, Stephano? Huh? How do you like it?" But it may not come to that. I mean, Stephano still does not have any army to his name to speak of. He doesn't have a good economy. This third base might be taken out before Tom is able to react, but I don't think it will. Here come the roaches, here come the bandings, and those things will have to hightail it out of here. Stephano barely getting that hatch, but only barely, and barely doesn't count. His lings will be taken out by the reinforcements of Tom. Oh wow, actually Stephano playing really poorly here in this game. Spire going down and a layer as well for Tom. Maybe he even wants to go into a greater Spire and Broodlords, saying, well, if we're fighting with free units, we might as well use all the units that we have that are free at our disposal, which will be kind of funny. Even getting up static defenses, so if those swarm hosts ever move out of Stephano's base, he will have detection to snipe them off, kind of. I'm just wondering, why isn't he going in and killing Stephano? I mean, his supply is doubling that of his opponent. His army size is 3 times of what Stephano has, and his economy is approximately 30% greater. Nevertheless, the Spire and the Hive are finishing up in sync, so I'm expecting Greater Spire to go down ASAP. Let us see if Tom ends up doing that. Meanwhile, he still has to defend a couple of Rumbais here and there, but he's at 52 drones and Stephano only having 34. He is getting a sizable swarm host contingent up though, so it could get a little bit scary later on, but Tom has a Greater Spire on the way. He's getting Corruptors as we speak, so I think he'll get up 6 to 8 Broodlords and then just attack. Meanwhile, he should be producing nothing but drones though, because he's a little bit under-droned. If we look at his mineral to gas count, mineral to gas ratio, he's completely out of minerals, and there's a lot of gas to his name. Now, the advantage that Stephano has, one of the advantages, are these double Evo chambers, which he's using to upgrade his locusts with, and the other advantage is that his lair in the main has been killed very quickly early on in the game. So, he will end up mining out this base a lot slower or a lot later than normally he would have, whereas if we look here, Tom already has mined out his base, but Stephano doesn't have a third, so the economies could be a lot even than what would optically be what you would optically assume given the situation. If Stephano can deny this base or even outright kill it later on, he will be on par economy-wise with his opponent, because he's not been droning up. He won't have the powerhouse to fuel his war machine. Nice awareness there by Stephano, taking out that changeling. The upgrades will be finishing up. And Tom, instead of getting upgrades for his locusts, he's getting upgrades for his ground army. There we have the 5 Broodlords morphing. Stephano doesn't have any idea. I wonder why he's only morphing 5. There we go, additional 2 morphed in just now. I wonder if Stefano has any idea this is coming. I don't think he has. He has not scouted his opponent for the longest time imaginable, just turtling back, building static defenses, and more and more and more swarm hosts. He does have 10 of them, and they are being complemented by infestors as well. The upgrades are just now finishing up. Let's see if he queues up additional ones as level 1 attacks finish. And now he's gonna know. Now he's going to know what is up. Broodlords taking pot shots at his mineral lines. The infestors will try to fungal those Broodlords, but look at Tom, so aware of the situation, pre-spreading those Broodlords, putting them back individually, and Stefano with a well done, and leaves the game. Well played by TianxiaTom. I have to say, nice game. Well done, brother. So, that was the last game of today. I'm gonna be going off. Once again, this was Cast My Game episode 25. So thanks everybody for watching, either live or from the YouTube archives. The video should be up shortly after I turn off the stream. And yet again, if you want to submit a game, all you have to do is meet the requirements, which is 10 to 30 minutes long, at least master versus master game. Send it to BelleNOiR@cesnam.cz, the email address you see in the middle of the screen down there. And don't forget, the title has to be Cast My Game, all in caps, so that it gets through the spam filter. And I might just end up randomly selecting it and casting it. I'm trying to select as many of the replays as I can. Especially getting a good mix of matchups and good mix of older or sooner submitted replays and later submitted ones, so that everybody can get in and no one feels at a disadvantage. But I'm not God, and I only have 3 replays to cast. So other news: Followers Tournament number 10 will be announced in the coming 2 weeks. We will either be doing that one in the 3rd or 4th week of July, and this will be the last one for this year. The next one will be played probably under a different format, probably with a different name, most probably or almost certainly in September. I'll be taking a break from tournament organizing until then. So thank you for watching, and until next time, just remember, storm first and ask questions later.